So, ladies and gentlemen, it is now official. The Buffalo Bills have finalized their 53-man roster after a long and tumultuous day of us regularly scrolling on X, refreshing our feeds. We finally have an answer, right? A lot of the questions, such as will Terrell Shavers squeeze his way into the wide receiver room? Are the Buffalo Bills looking to shop around Curtis Samuel or perhaps even Elijah Moore? What exactly is the cornerback depth chart going to look like? And I'll tell you what, I feel like we got a bunch of interesting tidbits when we look at this overall 53-man roster. And I am so excited to go over with it with you guys today. As always, guys, as you are tuning in, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up sign. It is the easiest way to show love over on this channel. As many of you know, we are flirting, I think, dangerously with about 45,000 subscribers on this channel by itself. We're building a great community. Um, so within the Bills Mafia sector. So say, for example, that it is your cup of tea. Please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up sign. And as always, sound off in the comments. Let me know where you are tuning in from. I'm nosy. I want to understand how far Bills Mafia truly extends. What corner of the United States, what corner of the globe are you currently tuning in from? Folks, as you can see, I am in a different environment. Hence why I was not live yesterday. I was traveling much of the day yesterday. I am currently where I need to be. And as I told you earlier this week, my streaming schedule is going to be a bit sporadic since I have quite a bit to do on this trip. However, I had to come on. I absolutely had to come on and discuss with everybody some of the big storylines that we got from this roster and perhaps even predicting a path forward as Buffalo has now completely shifted focus to the Baltimore Ravens here in just about a little less than 2 weeks. And damn, I can tell you, I am feeling it. Smash that like button. Let's see where everybody is tuning in from today. We have Cheek Tawaga in the building. Oh, that's weird. All right, here. I am going to hop off and then I'm going to tune back in. Apologies. Thank you for dealing with me here. Okay. Hold up. I will be right back. Bang, bang. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and get this up real fast. Share my screen. Bang. Here we go. We have Cheek Tawaga is in the building. Washington, D.C. is in the building. Columbus, Ohio, baby. I am in Nashville, Tennessee. That's a beautiful place. I'm all about Nashville. You already know that. Asheville is in the building. El Paso, Texas. Statesville, North Carolina. Kevin O'Shaughnessy. Surprisingly enough, I lived there for about 2 years back when I was about 6 or 7 years old. So funny enough, I'm familiar with that area. The United Kingdom is in the building. Columbus, Ohio is in the building. We need a better secondary. Allen is coming in. And yeah, dude, listen, I can definitely acknowledge that. And I think that's a great segue because I do kind of want to focus on the secondary here for a second. You'll probably notice the title of this video. And no, this is not just a cheap attempt of clickbait. This is something that I genuinely feel that we perhaps have the deepest roster in the Sean McDermott era, if you were to ask me. And of course, I would say probably the biggest gripe or the biggest complaint about that take is, oh my God, Dan, no, look at our secondary. We are struggling in that department. Well, one thing I can say is due to the fact that we are in a salary cap sport, I'm looking at some of the position groups where historically we have had issues, such as the defensive line, for example. I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm feeling really damn good about this defensive line. Who else saw some of the advanced analytics that dropped between TJ Sanders and Deion Walker, having well over a 15% pass rush win rate earlier this week? That is encouraging. That should make us all be leaping for joy under that one specific thing that we saw. Solid in the edge department as well. Quality run defenders out on the edge, even in the interior. So the defensive line, which was a big area of concern, that has all but seemingly been addressed. If, for example, we just wanted to take from what we saw from this preseason and also with these offseason moves, etc. Same thing with wide receiver, right? Like all of us were concerned um, when we saw Shaver start balling out in the preseason. Like we were like, yeah, there's no way that Buffalo is going to keep Curtis Samuel and Elijah Moore, and they did. And I understand that Elijah Moore, he struggled a bit during the preseason, but I think that we can all agree that his skill set is interesting. And we didn't even particularly see Elijah Moore work a lot with Josh Allen. And surprisingly enough, I do think that a quarterback throwing you the football is going to be important to actually gauge how much of an impact a wide receiver can make in the first place. So a solidly deep wide receiving core, seeing that they can all stay healthy. So I think wide receivers improve significantly as far as skill set. I think the defensive line has looked great. I'm very encouraged with our offensive line once again returning. Running backs are great. Like folks, like we perhaps have one of the best triple-headed monsters in the league at the running back position. James Cook, Ray Davis. Same thing with Ty Johnson. The only position groups that really worry us is going to be the secondary. And what is encouraging about this 53-man roster, one thing I can tell you is I was watching like a hawk yesterday when I saw who was going to be designated on the IR, designated to return. I was almost anticipating, based off of the lack of information that we have heard from Brandon Beane in this front office, that it was going to be Maxwell Harrison and Trey White. But the fact that Trey White is activated on the roster as we speak, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I have a pretty good understanding, and I feel pretty good right now that we will be seeing Tre'Davious White. That we will be seeing Tre'Davious White at some point. Hold up. We have Jordan Schultz has just come up, and somebody said something. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking news. We have some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of you have been screaming it from the damn rooftops right now. Jordan Poyer has indeed re-signed with the Buffalo Bills per Jordan Schultz. Let's read it specifically and see what has to be said. Breaking: the Bills are signing former All-Pro safety Jordan Poyer, bringing their longtime star back to Buffalo per Drew Rosenhaus and Kyle Lincoln. After a year in Miami, Poyer returns to where he made his name and rejoins the Bills Mafia. Folks, I'm going to have to make a TikTok right here. So as we're coming in, do me a favor, smash that like button. We have some breaking news on the show right now. We are once again returning Jordan Poyer, which makes this wildly interesting. So let me make a TikTok real fast. And guys, somebody in the chat remind me, who was the safety that is quote unquote a special teams ace that we signed late last night? Let me know who that was specifically by the name. If anybody was paying attention, I was so locked in. On travel yesterday. It's hard for me to do it. But let me know what the safety's name was yesterday that we brought in. That is a special teams ace. If you could help me out. Sam Martin. Rebecca, thank you so much. No. It's not Sam Martin. It's I'll figure it out. Somebody look it up for me. Sam Franklin. That's it. Thank you so much. All right, folks. It's influencer in the wild time right now. Do not make fun of me. I know it's cringy when you see people doing this in public, but hey, you know what? We have a beautiful family over here. There's no judgment on this channel, baby. Let's go ahead and lock this in. So your boy needs to hit his deliverables this year. Daddy's got to put the bacon on the table. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's lock in. Let's see what we got. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking news from the Buffalo Bills side of things. Jordan Poyer, former All-Pro for the team, made his name with the Buffalo Bills, is re-signing with the organization. Now, many of us know that safety was the biggest concern amongst Bills fans for the past couple of weeks, even after the 53-man roster was finalized. Funny enough, we did end up bringing in another safety, Sam Franklin, less than 24 hours ago. Many are saying that he is a special teams ace. But funny enough, we see Jordan Poyer making a return. Now, details are still yet to be released, so I have no idea if this is going to be a practice squad move or if this is quite literally a move where Poyer is going to be ramped up almost immediately and perhaps Sean McDermott and Bobby Babbitt roll him out there week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens to play alongside Taylor Rapp. Say that it was up to me, I don't think he would particularly be ready to go week 1. I would not be surprised if he is designated right to the practice squad. Who knows? But rest be assured, Jordan Poyer is on the Buffalo Bills once again. Sound off in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on this. Oh, you know what? So we'll do a William Attar ad read, won't we? Here. Nah, we got to do RotoWire. And this is Influencers in the Wild, folks. Give me a break here, okay? So love each and every single one of you. All right. And by the way, if you have not downloaded RotoWire and you want to take your fantasy football season seriously, I highly recommend you go check out that link in my bio. Use my code Dan for 15% off. You will thank me later. Bang, bang. Look at that, folks. That was basically a tutorial on how to make a TikTok. I know it's such valuable information. I'm sure you guys are itching to make one yourselves. Sometimes I got to make fun of myself every now and again. You know what I mean, folks? Jordan Poyer is back. And yes, I think out loud, folks. Something my buddies always give me shit about. Let me post this bad boy and let me see what we have. We have Chris has come in with something saying, I'm not surprised that Poyer is back. I am actually happy. I'm going to actually be digging into information right here. It's tough for me to see who he replaces. Like who's gonna be demoted right to the practice squad, because we do have a 53, right? And we have about 4 players that are good enough to come back once they are back. So who gets demoted to the practice squad? I think that that's a question. No bones about it is upset about Poyer. Well, let me tell you what. Hold up. Buffalo Bills, ladies and gentlemen. So let me tell you what about this. Ladies and gentlemen, sure, it's probably upsetting to some of us, right? Because we're just like, oh my God, it's Jordan Poyer. He's washed up. Look at what he did. So within Miami, folks, I gotta ask you, what is another reasonable option at the safety position? Right? There's no stars out there. Some of us may have thought about Kyle Duggar, perhaps, or maybe we wanted to go after Simmons, for example, which still would have been wildly expensive. I'm fine with this. It's familiarity, right? It's somebody that we can lean on in a pinch. No, I don't think he's anywhere close to where he was. I'm still waiting on contract details, obviously. But really, at the end of the day, I think this team is just hoping that Jordan Hancock can really be that guy, or Cole Bishop could be that guy on week 1. Who knows? I don't think that Cole Bishop played that bad during his final preseason game. I think that he did enough to make me feel somewhat comfortable for the week 1 matchup. And say that I'm a gambling man, I think that Jordan Poyer is largely going to be a practice squad designation. I think a lot of people are saying he better not be 53. It's kind of hard for me to see him be on the 53, but here we are. Jordan Poyer is back on the Buffalo Bills. Man, this is about to go crazy with the Facebook crowd, bro. Buffalo Bills, Bills Mafia, NFL news. That's crazy. That is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's see. I would like Prime Ed Reed. Well, hey, listen, if we can build a time machine, then that would certainly be ideal. Guys, 381 of you are joining right now. 175 of you are on YouTube. 175 of you are on X. If you are just joining, breaking news right across the screen on this beautiful Wednesday morning, August 27th. Do me a favor, guys, like this video and roll call in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from if you are a newbie in the building. Maybe he's there to help teach Bishop like Hyde did last year. Perhaps. I think this smells like a practice squad designation to me, but obviously we have no way of confirming. Who knows what goes through the front office's mind at any given moment. Poyer just seems like a poor attempt to save space. Smoke and mirrors. Love the guy, but he doesn't help us one bit. Yeah, it's tough, though, right? Because there really aren't many options out there to help us. Many people are out there saying, oh, what about Simmons? I can tell you guys, if Simmons is as good as we believe that he is, he would have been signed a couple of months ago. So whether or not that is an injury concern if that's something that maybe a lot of front offices are just like not too keen on believing that he's going to be back in a reasonable time or be anywhere close to what he was during his prime, I think that's something to look out for. Don't get me wrong, I would have loved Duggar from the New England Patriots, but from what I understand, they tried shopping him around and there were no deals that were interesting enough to bring him back. And even if Buffalo was in the conversation, we would have had to pay a pretty penny in order for us to do that in the first place. So, yeah, like right now, like all we really can do, folks, is just hope that Cole Bishop can really take that second year jump. And you know what? Like, I'm not one that's going to try and suggest, for example, right? That, oh man, like look at Bernard, right? Like he had a slow 2-year start as well by missing a bunch of reps in training camp. I typically hate that, right? Because I do feel like that a specific player's journey is unique and it varies from player to player. So, but we did hear that from Babich. And maybe it was coaches speak. I don't know, but he at least sounds optimistic that Cole can eventually be the guy that we need him to be. It helps that we have a relatively light schedule to begin the season. Of course, once Baltimore is past and once Baltimore is no longer a threat to this Buffalo Bills team, like we have a cakewalk. We have the Jets, we have the Miami Dolphins, we have the Saints, we have the Patriots, we have the Falcons, etc. So I think this schedule is actually very good for Cole Bishop to earn his lumps and hopefully be fully ready to go by the time the bye week is over with. I think that that's kind of where we're at right now. We have Texas has come in. I feel safer with Poyer on the field than Hamlin and or Bishop, to be honest. He was pretty rough in Miami last year, but, I mean, maybe he has a little bit left in the tank. And, like, one thing I think I can say is I do feel like people are a bit more comfortable of Poyer's number being called rather than Hamlin during very important games. I feel like a lot of us can agree with that, right? I feel like that's the case. But here we are. Bear with me, folks. I'm just posting this Jordan Poyer video all over the internet as we speak. We have Buffalo Baby. Hey, Dan, question. Is it true that Poyer is coming back? Read it and weep. Buffalo Baby. Indeed, it is true. The Buffalo Bills are reuniting with former All-Pro safety Jordan Poyer. It's funny how a lot of these players take this mold, right? So they go and they play for a rival for about a season, and then afterwards, so they come and they just show a little bit of love. Why does Bean keep going back to the well, sniffing at Gabe Davis? You have Jordan Phillips signed, and now Poyer. Why? Poyer played poorly in Miami. He hurt Coleman last year. So I agree with your sentiment here, right? But I will raise the question. Who do you trust more right in a game, Hamlin or Jordan Poyer? Is Jordan Poyer, who he is today, a safer option in your mind than Damar Hamlin? That is the question that I will give you. Where Buffalo is, and this is typically an issue with good football teams. With good football teams, you are going to run into seasons where your finances aren't particularly where they need to be, right? So we can't go out and make a play for like a really good safety because, quite frankly, it's going to be tough for us to make the books. Not a lot of options in the free agency market, especially since all of these guys missed all of the reps. As far as an immediate impact player, like say that we needed an emergency safety to come in week 1, week 2, week 3. Say that Cole sucks and he's benched, or say that Cole ends up getting hurt, and say that Hamlin ends up getting hurt, right? How the front office is probably looking at this is, okay, like we could sign a free agent safety right now who's had no reps, no familiarity with our playbook, no familiarity with how this defense operates. Poyer is the best option as far as familiarity and as far as a ramp-up period. That's kind of how I'm looking at the things. Same thing with Jordan Phillips, who is indeed a practice squad player once again. I think Poyer is going to be on the practice squad as well. Unfortunately, it's just how it is, folks. It's just how it is, and that's how I think that this team is being looked at. I do love Jordan Poyer, but maybe we shouldn't bring him back because could he be the Poyer that we needed a couple of years ago, or will he be the Micah Hyde and just retire? He's not gonna he's not gonna be the Jordan Poyer who he was a couple of years ago. I can promise you that. And so I can promise you that he's not going to be that guy. But he's a practice squad guy, folks, right? Like a lot of people were getting really pissed about the Jordan Phillips thing. Guys, it's not a bad move for us to have Jordan Phillips and Jordan Poyer on our practice squad. It is not a bad move at all. In fact, I would argue that this is something that we should all be, super excited about. Like this is an actual vet lace type practice squad that's going to be really contributing during some of these times while we're preparing for some of these teams. So as far as some of these names, a lot of us are looking at like Asante Samuel Jr. A lot of us still want him, and a lot of people still want Justin Simmons and stuff like that. Like, folks, like there is a reason why those players haven't been signed by the 31 other teams in the NFL, right? It's just kind of how it is. No, I'm taking Hamlin over Poyer every time, especially a washed Poyer. I feel like we shouldn't be too upset about him being on the practice squad, and to be completely honest with you. MCD can't develop, being stuck in 2021. Senke Chandler, sad boys of 2025. This kid is so upset about everything. I feel like Poyer will be at least in the right spot on the field. I just asked you on Monday if Poyer and Hyde would be better than anything we currently have. I don't think our safety room's that bad in the first place, right? I really don't think that it's that bad because offenses don't stretch the field as much as they typically do. And Taylor Rapp, as long as he is out there, he covers a lot of ground. As far as coverage, we're pretty much there. So that's just kind of where we're at. Poyer is a ball hawk. He may have taken a few steps back, but he's still serviceable. I remember him forcing a lot of turnovers. Deep roster, deep old roster. Go Pats. We have Paul Costa coming in. He's feeling good. I hope you're looking forward to a big jump up season for the New England Patriots, but you are not going to be a serious contender until at least like next year. No, I'm just saying from the starting position. Ryan, and do we know when waivers clear to bring those cut guys back? Did it already clear? I believe later today is when we end up getting an announcement of our practice squad. So be on the lookout for that. Both Big Phil and Poyer back add depth and veteran presence. Not mad at these moves because injuries always come. And these guys are going to be on the practice squad unless we need them. Guys, like we have a very deep roster, dude. Like look at the players that we have that are listed as IR, designated to return. You have Tylen Grable, who's a great swing tackle. Have Maxwell Harrison, our first pick, and two guys that are suspended, and Larry Ogunjobi and Michael Hoyt. All four of those guys are contributors, right? And then you look at our practice squad. I got to tell you what, I feel comfortable with our practice squad if we need to elevate anybody at any given time, right? Like we'll likely have Frank Gore Jr. back on the practice squad. If, for example, one of our running backs come back, I think a lot of us feel comfortable that he can fill in on some of those situational pieces, say that we need him. I think more than likely KJ Hamler is probably going to be back on the practice squad as well if, for example, one of our receivers go down. So I'm feeling really, really optimistic about it. And the thing is, like, I do always like putting this out into context for everybody, right? Guys, like we are in a salary cap laden league. You are never going to have a perfect roster. No team has a perfect roster ever. It's just the nature of the beast. If, for example, Terry Pagula could go out there and just open up his checkbook and spend whatever penny that he wanted to put together a perfect team all across the board, for sure. Like that's sick. Sign me up. But it's just not the case. I feel like we need to look at this roster and we need to acknowledge what is truly deep. I, for one, think we have a pretty deep linebacking room or a linebacker room. That's something we've struggled with. Like once Milano and Bernard, right under them, we have Shaq Thompson, who I think is quality as far as a vet. He's somebody that we can rely on in a pinch. He's great in coverage, and he can play Mike and off-ball linebacker at any given point, which is ideal. You have Andreessen, who's a good special teams contributor, and Dorian Williams, who's a solid downhill type linebacker. So that room, in my opinion, I'm way more comfortable with than I was in 2024. Way more comfortable with our defensive line I'm sure a lot of us can agree with that. We've been comfortable with the offensive line. I like our wide receiving room as far as versatility and depth. I like our running back room. We arguably have the best triple-headed monster in the NFL with James Cook, Ty Johnson, and Ray Davis. That's solid. And we have the MVP returning. So when I look at this roster, I'll be completely honest with you. The only position group that really makes me sweat, and sweat's probably even an over exaggeration and me being an absolute drama queen, is safety. Safety. And we're talking about one safety, especially where Buffalo typically runs the too high shell in the first place, and that prevents quarterbacks from even trying anybody. So, and we're also looking at a team that was able to take the football away quite a bit last year. So it's just the nature of the beast, folks. It's the nature of the beast. Like, no team is going to be perfect all across the board. It's just how it is. I feel this is a trading move, just like Hyde last year, to help the young safeties. Yeah, dude. I mean, it definitely could be the thing. It definitely could be the thing. Except the Eagles in the playoffs. We have Earl Flynn, Dan, and you ever wonder what happened with Lewis Seen, who was on the practice squad last year, who played safety? I believe that he signed with somebody else. Brent has come in. Oh, yeah, Shaq Thompson in opposite. Question. So what is McDermott and Bean going to do when all the players they're familiar with and have trust in retire? They can't keep relying on players of the past for depth of injuries. So my question is, what move would you have made? What move would you have made? Would you have brought in a Justin Simmons that has been denied by 31 other NFL organizations, right? So here's the deal. Like, we don't know everything that happens. So within these player visits, folks, when there is a player that we see as a name and we're just like, oh my God, yeah, like we need to sign him, and he's not signed, there's typically a glowing reason why that person is not signed each and every single time. So it's tough to gather. You know what I mean? Go Bill. So much negativity. Bean knows what he is doing. We have Spidey Mondays coming in. Okay, but are there any of these moves going to help stop the third down conversion or screenplays? I mean, we're going to have to see, right? So we're going to have to see. Like, one of the big issues with third down conversions is not secondary problems. It's giving the quarterback 7 to 8 seconds to comfortably find the open man. And so I don't care how good your secondary is. If you give a good quarterback, more than 5 seconds to find an open man comfortably, right? 9 times out of 10, they're going to find an open man. It's just how it is. So ideally, and based off of what we saw, like during the preseason, like say, for example, that TJ Sanders and Deion Walker can make the most of their 20 to 30% snap share that they're likely going to see for at least half of the season. I mean, ideally, yeah. So we should be able to see that, especially with Joey Bosa. Can he stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, then yeah, I would say that our pass rush is going to improve. If Daquan Jones, he comes back and he has maybe enough for one more quality run of him being what he used to be, that I think Ed Oliver opens up. So yeah. So on paper, we should have a significantly better pass rush. Significantly better. But time will tell. Time will thaw. Dan is frozen in thought. It happens a lot. You good, bro? Yeah, folks. I'm good. I was just distracted real fast. I was sitting there and I was responding to a troll. There's like this Bengals fan that works for me, like unironically, And like he has just been talking a lot of shit about the Buffalo Bills. And I'm like, dude, listen, congratulations. Congratulations. Get ready to let up 70 points per game. That's what I was doing. Some Twitter beef with the Bengals fan. You know what it is. It's another day in the life of Dan Mitchell. Only reason Simmons not signed because the money he wants. Ramsey, Dan, any huge cuts? Who's who? The big deal cut. Well, so I'll tell you what, man. When I look at this 53-man roster, it's really about everything that we would have guessed going into the preseason. Like, we thought that there might be a shakeup when it comes into the wide receiver room. We thought that we were going to be walking away from Curtis Samuel and or Elijah Moore. But no. And both of them ended up making this roster, which is crazy. I'm sure a lot of us are celebrating that Terrell Shavers made the team. Like, will he actually be active? I think that's a different question. So did I miss that Max is on the PUP? Don't see him on the 53. He is on the IR designated to return. So he has about 4 weeks. So more than likely he will be back by week 5. What is encouraging is the fact that there's no injury designation on Tre'Davious White, which is kind of leading into my overall thought process that us waiting to announce the status of Trey White's injury is more gamesmanship. Us not letting Baltimore know who's going to be running at CB2, right, going into week 1. So based off of the fact that Trey White is actually good and he's on the roster, he's not designated to return, quote unquote, it's telling me that he might be a full go on week 1. If not, then I guess we're just going to have to trust Ingram or maybe Dorian Strong, perhaps. Who knows? It would not be the first time if that was the case. Who gets cut when Hoyt and Ogunjobi come back? Mike, great question. That is a speculation. So I'm not going to say for sure who is going to be cut, but I can look at a couple of players that I think that Buffalo would probably tap into. Or I can look at a couple of players that could be on the roster bubble. I think Dwayne Carter, unfortunately, might be a guy that they would consider if, for example, they wanted Larry Ogunjobi to come back and make some steps. And it doesn't always mean that you are going to be taking somebody away, right, from that room. We could very easily sacrifice another position group. Like, for example, say that we wanted to walk away from Cam Lewis. I'm not saying that that's going to be the move in order to make room for Michael Hoyt or in order to make room for Larry Ogunjobi, saying that Dwayne Carter just goes out there and he balls and he earns his spot for the full season. We can tap into other rooms. So guys that could be on the roster bubble by the time the suspensions have been served, I am looking at Dwayne Carter. I am looking at maybe Ingram, and I'm also looking at Solomon as well. So those are probably the 3 players that I think would potentially be chosen of who could go in order to make room for some of those suspended players. I think that's the case, but let's see. Yo, Dan, haven't had the time to pop in your streams lately. Have you settled in the new crib? My friend, my new crib is settled. I'm traveling right now. I am not at my home, but yes, my friend, I have a brand new office, which is sick. Solid house. And I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. So thank you so much for asking. Linda Jackson. Hi, Dan. Go Dolphins. I am watching your channel from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Linda, what's going on? I hope all is well. I think Poyer is here as a teacher for Bishop. It's still a fear factor on the field as well. I think he's a practice squad guy. I really do. I'm sitting here waiting to see if I see any other updates from the local beat reporters in Buffalo. But okay, so the Bills are signing Jordan Poyer to the team's practice squad. Yep, look at that, folks. So we can calm down. Folks. Per Elena Getzenberg, it is official. He is being added to our practice squad, folks. We had Laviska Shenault. He did not make the team. It sounds like Buffalo has a lot of confidence in Codrington. Who knows? We have KC will tell what team will age faster, the Bills or Kansas City. Both teams are on the clock. We're going to have to see. Thoughts on Moore and Codrington making the roster? So I think that Laviska would have been a better kick returner, and so I think he would have been a better punt returner. But I mean, what are you going to do? And with Codrington, he's a terrible cornerback. So I really hope that his number is never called to where we need to rely on him in that side of the game. But I suppose he did good for us last year.
As far as Elijah Moore, I'm still trying to be optimistic. It's not like we ever saw him with significant reps with Josh Allen during the preseason, obviously. Like, we heard great reports of him and Josh Allen during training camp and joint practice, but we never saw it on film. So maybe Elijah Moore was having a hard time. He was trying to establish chemistry with some of the backups or the variety of backups that were throwing him the football. Who knows? And I suppose it's not too late for us to potentially find a trade partner for him, right? Like, we have a trade deadline leading all the way up until a little past Halloween, if I remember correctly. But I think that's the thing. I don't know why we didn't cut our punter and use Davidson as a tight end for and punter. So I think it's the exact same reason why Ray Davis has likely done his final kick attempt, his final extra point attempt, right? Barring some emergency. If, for example, that Brad Robbins were to go down at any given moment, I'm sure there's probably some other players that are athletic enough that would be able to get us past that, right? And injuries to a punter in game are very rare, So, yeah, I'm good on the tight end side of things. I think Hawes did enough. I think he's interesting in order to perhaps be the replacement to Dawson Knox. And by the way, folks, like, you look at some players that maybe some of us like were rooting for. Like, when you look at the history of players that were actually taken from our practice squad or didn't make it through waivers, it's no star-studded name, folks. I think one of the only names that is notable that got picked up once we cut them from our active roster was like Ray McLeod. Like, he was one of the only players, I think, that a lot of people really even recognize. So normally, like, when we look at all of this, say that there's like a camp sweetheart. Say that there's a camp sweetheart and stuff along those lines. 9 times out of 10, they are on our practice squad almost each and every single year. So maybe Jimmy Charlo, maybe he might be a guy that could be picked up, but I doubt it. We have roster is deep. Yeah, for sure. I would say that this is probably the deepest roster of the McDermott era, to be completely honest with you, right? Especially with some of our position groups. And guys, remember, so we are fans of a salary cap league. Like, there is no team on the face of the planet that has a fully depthed out roster and deep all over the place. Right now, I think that we can all agree that we have a deep wide receiving room. I think we can all agree that we have a deep offensive line. I think we can all agree that we have a deep running back room. I think that we can all agree that we have a deep linebacker room. That's something that a lot of us were hoping for, right? Quality. Like, really, outside of Mulatto and Bernard, with Dorian Williams, or Joe Andreessen, with Shaq Thompson, who is super versatile. He can play Mike, an off-ball linebacker. He's great in coverage, and he's great as a downhill linebacker. We are in a much better position at linebacker than we were last year. That much I can assure you. On paper, we are a lot deeper on the defensive line. I'm not sure if you guys ended up seeing, but TJ Sanders and Deion Walker were in the top 10 for pass rush win rate all preseason long. Yes, I know it's preseason, but that's encouraging. You have Joey Bosa. When healthy, he's going to be a dude that always wreaks havoc. You have Gregory Rousseau. You have a healthy Daquan Jones, which means Ed Oliver is about to eat. And shout out to Sean for sending me that one video. He did a great job over there. So I think that we have a deeper defensive line. As far as cornerback and secondary, sure. But let me also remind you what some teams are going through with their secondary. Like, really, all of the teams that struggle with their secondary don't even have a formidable number one cornerback. Folks, whether or not that you would like to admit it or not, Buffalo, from the cornerback perspective, is in a much better position than a lot of the teams you guys are high on. Like, we have a CB1 and a top 5 slot corner in the NFL. Like, that puts us so far ahead from a lot of secondaries in the league that don't have that at all. Like the Miami Dolphins, for example. Much better position than Miami. Much better position than the Cincinnati Bengals. Much better position than a lot of NFL teams. Much better position than the Raiders. Much better position than that. Really, outside of Trent McDuffie, who else is in the Kansas City Chiefs secondary? outside of Trent McDuffie, who else is in the secondary over in Kansas City that makes you feel that they are in a better position than us? My point is, when you end up looking from the team by team perspective, there's going to be a weakness that has to do with the salary cap. It's something we've all been accepted. Safety, as long as Taylor Rapp can stay healthy, that's a big question. Can Taylor Rapp stay healthy? That's another question. So we have Wesson coming in and saying Fulton and Jalen Watson, for sure. Like the Buffalo Bills, we have Christian Benford, who I think we can all agree is a top 5 CB1. Taron Johnson, a top 5 slot corner in this league. Start giving flowers to damn Taylor Rapp. Folks, we have 3 guys in our secondary that put us comparable to just about everybody else in the league. It's how it is. They have weaknesses in their secondary. Many teams in the NFL have weaknesses somewhere on their roster. It's just how it is. But collectively, I think that we can all agree in most position groups, we're looking pretty damn good. I'm not sure about you, but I'm pretty optimistic. J-Tech is coming in. Dan, would you be mad if Bean re-signed Levi Wallace, who always got burned in man coverage? I mean, so it depended on what Bean wanted to do with him, right? Like, he has not had any reps in preseason. So say that we did sign him. So the plan was obviously never to start him in the first place. I don't think Levi is going to sign. Say that he does. Maybe Trey's going to be out a bit longer and then initially anticipated. I don't know. But, like, we're trying to stack up our young ones. So with Poyer being signed, what is the corresponding roster move? Nothing. He is on the practice squad as we speak. He's on the practice squad. So nothing happens with our 53. And so I like our young depth at CB, except for Codrington. For sure. Folks, listen, I think Ingram did pretty well with some of the reps that he had to take care of last year, right? You have Trey White, you have Maxwell Harrison coming back. And let's not pretend, all right, that after Baltimore, we have a fucking cakewalk, folks. Like, we have so there really is an opportunity where Buffalo can rattle off 8 straight wins. So regardless of what happens during the Baltimore Ravens game, like, we're going on a crazy streak this year. Like, we're going to look at our schedule and there's going to be a massive headline that says Buffalo really just won 8 straight or Buffalo won 9 straight. It's literally like that for us this year. It's like that for us. We are positioned beautifully as far as matchups. Shout out to the schedule makers that were able to make this a possibility. But yeah, like, guys, it's okay to be hype about something. It's okay to be pessimistic too. Well, actually, no, never mind. I refrain from saying that. It's not okay to be pessimistic. Being realistic and pessimistic are synonymous. Always remember that. All right. But there is a fine line between optimism and delusion. I'm not going to lie to you. You look at this defense on paper, as far as depth, we feel a lot better about the names that are on this roster than last year in the linebacking room and also on the defensive line. That much I think we can all agree with. We're in a very good position. And I think a lot of us always forget who is actually on this squad, folks. We have the damn reigning MVP, have one of the best offensive coordinators in the damn game coming back, returning. Benford top 5. No, that's not true. Chris Herrera. I would have to lie to you. He's top 5. He came second with Patrick Surtain II in DVOA and preventing separation. So I know that you're a Pats fan, but I mean, on paper and advanced analytics, Benford is better than Christian Gonzalez. It's just how it is. So I'm not sure if there's blinders on with Christian Gonzalez or something along those lines, but every single advanced metric on the face of the planet has Christian Benford as a top 5 CB1. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. Don't file your complaints with me. File your complaints with everybody that puts together data. File your complaints with math, my friend, because that suggests it. Let's not get cocky, Dan. It's the NFL. Those games after Baltimore aren't give-me's. Okay, listen, one thing I would always like to say, folks, I can be as cocky as I want, all right? Me, Dan Mitchell, saying how confident I am in this Buffalo Bills team means absolutely nothing. It does not affect how the Buffalo Bills play at any given moment. All right? Maybe you guys are trying to save me from embarrassment online. I don't care. I could care less. And do I really care what a bunch of 13-year-olds with a Cheeto-stained SpongeBob shirt is going to say to me if one of my predictions ultimately ends up being wrong? Absolutely not. I don't care. I know what business I signed up for. Me being confident in my team has nothing to do, plays zero effect on what is put out on the field. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't be afraid to be cocky. Don't be afraid of Cheeto stained 13-year-old SpongeBob shirt kids coming out and trolling you if you are wrong. Doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. People that are mean to you on the internet, got news for you, folks. You probably wouldn't hang out with them in the first place. You probably wouldn't associate with those people in the first place. That's how you need to look at these things. All right. Anybody who's like, oh, yeah, dude, I hate you, blah, 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 and you let that get to you in any capacity, you probably would ignore them in person, and you probably wouldn't associate with them in the first place. So, yes, I'm going to be confident in my team. I'm never going to walk on eggshells. That's why I think that I've kind of separated myself from a lot of the beat reporters out there in Buffalo, largely because they do walk on eggshells, because they're afraid to piss off the organization. No, hell no, bro. I'm going to say whatever I want about this team at any given moment. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. Weston is coming on in, and McDuffie is an all-pro. Weston, absolutely. He's great. Max Unger, Benford is the third best statistical corner in the NFL, but number one for the eye test. He is an absolute shutdown guy. Fange talk, would a loss at the Ravens be better than a win? I mean, you want to win each and every single game, right? It's really tough for me to predict this Ravens game. It really, really is. It's really, really hard for me to predict that game, because you look at Baltimore and they've started off slow historically for the past 2 seasons, like ugly starts, ladies and gents. But then again, I also look at the Buffalo Bills. I look at like how our last regular season matchup went. But then what keeps me optimistic right about Buffalo and Baltimore is I feel like way too many people are trying to compare the regular season matchup. But what they should be using as a comparison is the game in the playoffs last year, where Buffalo was at full strength, at least in all the important areas. People using the regular season narrative, being like, oh my God, look at what they did to us last year during the regular season. A couple of things there. Number one, they were in Baltimore. It's a very hard place to play. And folks, do you recall who was injured on our defense last year? Who was injured on the Buffalo Bills defense last year? Virtually everybody. You had Taron Johnson out. You had Matt Milano out. I'm pretty sure you had Bernard out. I'm pretty sure Benford was banged up during that game as well. And Khalil Shakir was playing on one leg. So if we're really basing a prediction off of last year, which is a cardinal sin right within it already, I feel like you need to look at the playoff matchup beforehand. That's just kind of how it is. I love your confidence for our team. Look, guys, I encourage that everybody has that level of confidence. Like, what are you afraid of? And so you're afraid of being wrong? Who cares? Who cares, baby? Who cares, baby? Come on, man. Listen, I'm not afraid to be wrong. I never am. Like, maybe that's just like my self-esteem. Maybe that's the thing. I don't know. But like, don't be afraid to be wrong. Like, who cares? Like, who cares what anonymous accounts on the internet have to say to you if you get a football prediction wrong? That's always like blowed my mind. Like, anytime I've ever talked to anybody, it's just like, oh yeah, dude, like I'm thinking about starting a podcast. And talking about the Buffalo Bills, but like it's all these haters, man. I can't do it. Like, why? Like, why do you care, bro? Like, why do you care what it is? Look, like, really, honestly, man, like for the most part, like I like really don't even read comments. It's just how it is. Obviously, I talk to everybody in the live chat. If somebody has something to say to me, then they are going to come into the live chat. That's how it is, right? So I've never cared much of me being wrong and getting called out on the internet, right? Because 9 times out of 10, again, I remind everybody, you wouldn't hang out with those people. Like, you wouldn't make out with those people. You probably would have bullied them back in high school, to be honest with you. That's how I look at these things. Patrick is coming in. Who was it injured is the real question. Cedric Van Granger being elevated from the PUP list right before the 53-man roster production was crazy. We have Max Harrison and Tylen Grable that has come into it. Dan, we can't waste Josh. Need to trade these 1 picks and move up in the draft. Need an impact player on defense. We can't waste Josh. Unfortunately, we don't have money, right? So we don't have money. So a starving kid out in Ethiopia needs food, you know what I mean? But say you don't have the funds or the resources to get it done. I mean, so you got to figure it out, right? It's just kind of how these things work. Unfortunately, we're just not in a really good financial position. And like, yes, we're able, right? Like we're able to go on ahead and finesse some of these very good contracts, but half of the time, folks, those are with homegrown players already that have bought into what this team is coming out with and that have bought into what this team has been bringing to the table for as long as it has. So that's just kind of how it works. We have Honda of Westport. What's up, Dan? Thanks for getting us through the doldrums this offseason. Who do you want to see as CB2 week 1 if Trey can't go? It's not what I want. It's likely what Buffalo would do. I think we'd see Ingram. I think we'd probably see Ingram out there for the week 1 starter against Baltimore if Trey is not coming. But so I am pretty optimistic that Trey is going to be out there because why would he not be added to the IR? Say that it was like significant. Worst case scenario, Trey White's only out week 1, but we're going to have to see. I think we lose week 1, but go on a run to the Super Bowl after the wake-up call. How are we feeling about adding Poyer? He's a practice squad designation, so I'm not as pissed off as some people on the internet might be. How's next year looking with money? Are we in a bad position? We're in a better position. We are in a much better position than what we were last year. So when Stephon Diggs left, that really put a wrench into quite a few things. So last year we saw some improvement. Next year we slightly improve as well. But you still need to be conservative, right? And for people that are always so judgmental on Brandon Beane and how he does things, I think that we can all give the man credit that he is an absolute magician when it comes into being able to have a laundry list of key players re-signed after their rookie contracts have expired. That is always interesting. I didn't look that deep when you played the Bears. Never be game over. Well, I mean, hey, listen, you know what? Like, yeah, so I'll say it exactly how Josh Allen said it. You don't want to play the Chicago Bears in the preseason. You don't want to play. And by the way, my friend, can you name 5 players that were out there against Tyson Bagent where it really ended up going off of the wall that are currently on this team right now? You probably can't. And because what made the Bears game bad was Tyson Bagent, not Caleb Williams. So name 3 players that have actually made this squad that were out there against Tyson Bagent. So we're good. Is General Drake May going downfield to Diggs to exploit the veteran Poyer? Probably not. I think you guys are getting swept again. I love all the hate against Benford. It's not affecting him at all. / the fans. Keep it coming. It's crazy. Mike, I think you're in the so the wrong chat, my friend. So I think Christian Benford is really good. He's a quality player, but he's not better than McDuffie. Nobody is suggesting he's better than McDuffie. JTL, question, are you not concerned about Maxwell's body frame? He's very thin. I mean, no. Like, some people might just be like, oh, well, hey, he's not going to be able to tackle in the run game. Well, then he probably wouldn't be able to run a 4.2 or / a 4.3. You know what I'm saying? So 9 times out of 10, he's going to be the speed guy that I'm very optimistic to watching when he goes up against more speedy wide receivers. That's largely what we ended up drafting him for, right? So we'll see. Let me see. You didn't sweep the Pats last year. You rested starters. Sounds like a personal problem. Chris Herrera is coming in, bro. He's gaining some crazy confidence out of nowhere. You still have a bum offensive line, and you have a wannabe Josh Allen as your QB. Spanking your ass. How dare you come in here? How dare you come in here flexing that you ended up beating our damn backups with Joe Milton? Congratulations. Yes, I'm ready to punch you guys in the mouth this year. Get ready for it. Pats and Bills split this year just like about every other year. Doubt it, my friend. Doubt it.
And this is my 5th year on the Don Mafia Mitchell show. I can't wait for the next year when we get a new stadium. This is beautiful. We have Earl Flynn. Dan, how do you feel about Bass's groin? Our field goal kicker okay? He played in the last preseason game. He did miss one, which is ideal. Hopefully, we don't need to be utilizing him too much. Are there any players that were cut from other teams you think that Bean could sign before week 1? I like our roster right now. It's just kind of how it is. Chris is a fool. We have Patriot. Look, I am high on the Patriots right now, but like I would probably reserve your confidence in the Patriots until next year. Maybe you guys fall ass backwards into the playoffs this year. I'm high on the team, but Patriots fans are ruining it. Patriots fans are ruining it right now. I'm trying to come out and be optimistic, and you guys are talking like you have the next coming of Tom Brady. Let's relax, all right? Your front office literally only has one player left on your roster from 2 draft classes ago, okay? You better hope that some of your free agency signings work out, because as far as depth, and you better hope that Drake May works out, because that news that came out of your most recent draft class where there's literally only a single player on the damn field, right now. Please give me a break. Holy hell, man. We're going to have to see what's going on there. And did you say Dolphins are going to the Super Bowl with Rasul Douglas? Dude, listen, we have delusion is at an all-time high. Holy S, Dan. And did you hear the offer Green Bay is giving Micah Parsons? And they are tied favorites to trade for him now. I thought I saw something. I'm not sure if that was a reputable source, but I'm curious about this. Love this for the Buffalo Bills. Poyer is the epitome of a leader. We have somebody who's recently just fired coming in. Oh, God, folks. Ladies and gents, we have some breaking news here. We have the Panthers are trading all-pro wide receiver Adam Thielen to the Vikings, and the Panthers receive 4th and 5th round picks. Vikings get future 5th and conditional 7th in exchange for Adam Thielen. That is interesting. That much is interesting. I'm not sure anybody saw that coming. Well, maybe we did. How do you think our defense is going to be this year? As long as we can get to the quarterback, I'm looking for an improvement. And again, look, I don't need this Buffalo Bills team to be top 3 or top 5 in pass rush. I do not. I just need us to be at least 10 spots better than 27 of where we were last year as far as 3rd down conversions. If we can get to a 13th or 14th ranked 3rd down defense, I'm a happy camper, and I think that gets it done for us. Because that was the issue. Guys, secondary was not the issue last year. I do not care what anyone tells you. If you are the 27th ranked 3rd down defense, I do not care how good your secondary is. If a quarterback has a comfortable 7 seconds to find an open man, he's going to find an open man. It's how it is. We have to cause pressure soon. It's basically how it plays out. I am going to be right back, folks. Smash that like button, by the way. Dang, dang.
Okay, be right back.
So of course I had to get the Zinachino going. You know what I mean?
Of course, I had to get the Zinachino going. Oh, by the way, folks, how's the audio on this? I know that I've had to switch it up since I'm not at home, but I have these lavalier mics. Let me know how it's working. Hopefully, it's somewhat ideal. Damn, I thought you were about to say Thielen to the Bills. I would love that. No, it's not the case. It's not the case. We have Nick716. I'm excited to see if Deion Walker could do this versus the Ravens and see how he handles tackling Henry or the RPO from Lamar. Dude, honestly, man, like you look at the Baltimore Ravens, and for the past couple of seasons, they have had slow starts. And so Lamar has had no preseason reps, much like Josh Allen. So what team is going to start off the slowest? It's just how it is. What team is going to start off the slowest? I think that's the equation. Guys, we have 403 of you in here. That is absolutely awesome. Do me a favor right now. Sound off in the chat and let me know where you're tuning in from. All 400 of you. I am talking to the lurkers, maybe to people that just utilize me as a radio station in the morning. Do not be shy, folks. Sound off in the chat right now and let me know where you're tuning in from, what team you are currently representing. We are talking all things 53-man roster this morning. I'm so excited all of us are in the conversation. All right. Anyway, guys, while we're doing that, I need to give a couple of shout outs to our proud partners. Obviously, William Mattar. If you are ever hurt in a car, you better call William Mattar, #1 car accident attorney in the state of New York. I wouldn't wish a car accident on anybody, but say that it does happen. It's important to have the right person in your corner. Phone number is on the screen, as you can see. Shout out to our good friend, William Mattar. And then say, for example, that you want to win your fantasy football league this year. If you have not already drafted, highly recommend that you check out RotoWire. It is the #1 fantasy football draft kit on the market today, folks. And even if you have drafted, it has some of the most advanced analytics, the best waiver wire tool where you can really unpack what your best move is. I have been addicted with this platform, and I highly recommend that each and every single one of you sign up. Link is in bio. Use code Dan for 15% off if you haven't had an opportunity of getting it done. Guys, do not be shy. Sound off in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. We are having some conversations about this team. West Palm Beach, Florida is in the building. Nova Scotia. We have New York is in the building. Chattanooga. We have Guadalajara, Mexico is in the building. Fredericksburg, Virginia. Tampa, Florida. Chicago is in the building. Sweden, go Bills. Zintastic. Yes, sir. You already know. That is my vice, is some Zinachinos. East Atlanta. We have Orlando, Florida. Dan, and did you touch on the Jordan Poyer signing? If so, thoughts again, please. He was signed to the practice squad. I like the move. He's not starting. Not a bad veteran presence. Jacksonville, Florida is in the building. John Barker, what is going on? Buffalo, New York, go Bills, 315. The NFL season needs to start already. 11 more days. Southern Connecticut, go Bills. Denver, Colorado. Oakland, California. New Jersey, Bills Mafia. Thomasville, New York is in the building. Guys, do not be shy. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Do not be shy. That's including the lurkers here. Hey, Dan, it's Andrew from over the pond in Yorkshire. Love your posts and insights. Over here, our Bills, our faves for Super Bowl with the Ravens. What are your thoughts, man? Let me tell you what. I really hope we can get it done, my friend. I really hope that we can. On paper and based off of our schedule, we should have a smooth road to the 1 seed. Because when I look at some of our competition, like the Ravens, the Bengals, the Chiefs, etc., both of their schedules are significantly harder. Both of their divisions present quite a bit of, so more of a difficult play as well. So where Buffalo, we really don't have a threat with all of our sort of games within the division. So 6 almost automatic wins within the division. We have the NFC South, and then we also have all of our difficult games are at home in Buffalo. So I think that we're presented almost beautifully. Charleston, South Carolina is in the building. Rochester, North Carolina. Lurkin, California. Newman, Georgia is in the building. We have Baltimore, I believe, is in the building. Western New York, native, crappy Jamestown, New York. Oh, man, we love Jamestown over here. Michael, come on. Rogue is greater than Zins. Cheek to Vegas, New York. Buffalo, New York. Good morning, JD the Great. How you doing, man? We have Poyer is joining the practice squad. Dope. Tricks is coming. 744 of you rock with me. That's crazy, man. 407. A lot of lurkers, by the way, though. I did tell you. And so I did tell everyone to roll call in the chat. And I can almost promise you that not everybody roll called in the chat. But that's okay. Listen, I totally get it. Some of you are busy and just trying to hear what's going on in the world of the Buffalo Bills. Please explain to me why we brought Poyer back. Also, Athens, Georgia. Go Dogs, Jason. Go Dogs, my friend. We're going to beat the hell out of Marshall in this week, and I can't wait for it. But, so a practice squad, designation, it sounds like the Buffalo Bills are still pretty concerned about the status of their safety room. So I welcome it, right? And so I welcome it. He's not making the 53, at least now, barring some crazy injury. But that's just going to have to be what it is. We have, look at that. We have Japan is in the building. That is awesome. That is unique. We have Lehigh, Utah is in the building. Lurking is in the building. Fresno, California. Man, this is awesome. Dan, don't hate on Poyer. Don't you dare. Delray Beach, Florida. That's my guy. We have Melissa's coming in saying, "Go Bills. Wonder how Poyer's wife feels. She wasn't so nice when they left." Hey, listen, we are a forgiving fan base. We are a forgiving fan base. Patrick's coming in. Go Dogs. How do you feel about Gunnar Stockton? No, it's not so much about Gunnar Stockton, but can the Georgia Bulldogs get back to running the football? Right? Like, that's my thing. Last year, we put way too much faith in Carson Beck being a gunslinger, and that hurt us in the turnover department. So I want us to get back to running the football as long as Stockton can just be a game manager. Maybe we call his number a time or two. I'm feeling pretty comfortable about another SEC championship. I really am. And that's even over Texas. And we'll see how Texas starts up against Ohio State. I'm picking Texas to win on Saturday, but obviously that's a different conversation. College football is back this weekend, baby. College football is back. Sending love from the 716 from the 931. Season Beast, what's going on? We got Go Ducks. We have an Oregon fan in the building. Sorry, Dan, a little late. Cheektowaga, New York, 11 days until greatness begins. Go Buffaloes. Jeff, no problem at all. I had to start a bit earlier. I am actually on the East Coast right now, so my internal clock is a bit funny. Carson and throwing INTs while throwing the thread the needle. Name a more iconic duo. Oh, my God. It was him. Like, honestly, man, like, I really don't think people are prepared. And so I really don't think people are prepared that are so Miami Hurricanes fans. I really don't think that they are prepared for what kind of season they are going to be seeing this year with Carson Beck as their quarterback. It is such a significant drop-off from Cam Ward, and their first game is against Notre Dame. Like, Notre Dame is going to, especially that defense, oh my God, is going to embarrass Miami next weekend. And it's largely going to be blamed on Carson Beck. And that's coming from Georgia fans. Trust me. Trust me, that's coming from Georgia fans, man. So say that you're a Miami Hurricanes fan. So I'd tread lightly on your optimism around your team this year. Good morning, Dan. Missed you yesterday. Checking out from sunny St. Cloud, Florida. Joe and Jeremy, WGR 550, said on their show this morning that Poyer is practice squad, probably like Hyde last year. Yeah. It is actually official right now, Light of Truth. It was reported by Aiden Getzenberg. She said that it is official. He is being added to the practice squad. So not a 53-man designation. With that, I'm not upset. Go UNC, Coach Bill. James, man, he's hopping onto the Tar Heel bandwagon. It's going to be a tough first year for him. I feel like the Tar Heels are probably going to go maybe 8-4, maybe 7-5. But he has been dominating in recruitment. So next year might be interesting for Bill Belichick in year 2, but let's see. Thoughts on Kelsey proposing? Oh, my God. Hey, look, man, I'm just happy that people are happy, right? And so when people are happy, I am happy. It is awesome. I did see that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged. I saw that was the case. Poyer needs to be the starter. Yeah. Dan, and there's multiple Oregon fans in your chat. I am being one of them. Shout out to them Oregon Ducks, man. Shout out to them Oregon Ducks. Dan, what's your honest take on Rasul Douglas with the Dolphins? Good stuff. Like your channel, fins up. It's going to be an interesting season. So my honest take, and me not trolling Miami Dolphins fans, last year he had a rough season, but I still think that he's going to help your secondary, right? Like, he's known for being able to jump routes. He has great length. He's pretty physical. He's definitely a quality addition for y'all's sake, I would say. Like, last year, we wanted a hell of a lot more from him. Like, we saw a bit of a drop-off from Rasul, but I suppose he's a quality, like, physical DB that is typically pretty good at jumping routes. Last year, not so much, but he does have that on his tape. Hoping for good news from Bean about Trey White. So I'll tell you what, it's still all speculation at this point. But the fact that he wasn't added to the IR designated to return is a good sign to me. Maybe this is more gamesmanship, where Buffalo is trying not to show all of their cards for week 1 against Baltimore. and Trey White indeed is going to play on week 1. But I don't know, man. We're going to have to hear an injury report. And I suppose I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear a status on Tre'Davious White until the first press conference on Tuesday of next week. So that's just kind of where we're at. Also, Poyer back means more Rachel Bush, so everything is great. Oh my God, we have Arch Manning is in the building. What's up, Dan? You were MIA yesterday of all days, and did we make you cut your vacation short? Why can't they get Simmons already and Asante Samuel Jr.? No, man. Listen, I am indeed out of town. I was planning on going live today. I was not planning on doing anything yesterday. I was in the air for the most part. So I was in the air for the most part. And I was getting settled right into my spot. But I'm back today. I'm not so sure about tomorrow, but we shall see. We have a super chat coming in. Where do you have New England this year? We will go 1-1. 1-1. I think 8-9, 9-8, maybe 10-7. It just depends. It just depends on how I have New England. So I think you guys have a good sort of opportunity of beating us at home in New England, maybe say that we're off, but I probably wouldn't look at last year as a good litmus test of y'all splitting with us last year, especially since we already had our seeding locked down and we weren't taking that game seriously. But yeah, so I have New England at 9-8, maybe 10-7. Floor is 7-10. Floor is 7-10. Ceiling is 10-7 for me. That's what I got on them. Susan in Chicago, Chi-Town Mafia is in the house. Talk to me. Shaver's deep separation almost reminds me of Lee Evans. Man, hello, Dan. Connor, what's going on, man? Hope all is well. Man, I want Hyde to come back just for one last run with White, Poyer, Taryn, Milano all in the field. Oh, my God. We have DTN. 2 years, $4 million is a massive steal for Mac Hollins. We have John Mitchell. Mac Hollins might be good, but he's not a good teammate. He rubs the ball between his ass. So I'll be honest with you. I never really bought into the whole like Mac Hollins hype like last year. Like really outside of like 2 or 3 games where he ended up doing his job and catching the football. Like his stats weren't anything to sneeze at. So I think he's like a good wide receiver 5 or like a wide receiver 4, but yeah. And so I would have been fine with him coming back, but so not for the price that he was looking for. That's me. What's up, Foo? Yo, what's up, Fool? How's life, man? Hope all is well. We have Dion said Coleman is going off this year. He was right about the last person he said that about. I mean, let's hope. We have the Jaguars traded for Lions wide receiver Tim Patrick. There is so much stuff going on right now. I can't believe that I'm missing all of this quality information. Let's go. All right, folks. That's going to have to do it for another edition of the Don Mafia Report. I'm glad that I was able to chop it up with my friends this morning. As far as the rest of the week, I'm going to be pretty busy. So I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to do my best to perhaps come on at some point tomorrow, even if it's only for a half hour, so I can go ahead and chop it up. Friday and Saturday is a complete wash. And so you will not see me on Friday and or Saturday, barring some short videos that you might see on TikTok or Instagram. So say that you really miss me, folks. I highly recommend that you go follow me on one of the 3 platforms, X, TikTok, or Instagram, at Real Dan Mitchell. That is where you will be getting my instant reactions to some breaking news, perhaps, right within the Bills organization and or so the league right by itself. And then Monday is full steam ahead with the exact same schedule. Super busy while I'm out of town. So I love each and every single one of you, and we will see you a bit later. Peace.